Translator, Dark Angel. The fire-eyed bull was a level 3 demonic beast. Its rank was not particularly lofty, yet its eyes were a rare treasure. They could ward off extreme cold. Thus, among adventurers, they were prized beyond measure, for once one entered those bitterly freezing lands, such things would be of immense use. As a result, there were pitifully few fire-eyed bulls left in the world, and the price of a fire-eyed bull's eyeballs had long since soared to a sky-high figure. Now that these people had discovered fire-eyed bulls here, it was unavoidable that the desire to hunt them down would surge up within their hearts. However, fire-eyed bulls traveled as a herd, and if they were to erupt into a stampede, then only spiritual ocean tier elites could hope to oppose them. Evidently, there was no one of spiritual ocean tier among these people, so they had to ponder how to lure a single one away from the herd. Only when one bull was separated from its companions would they swarm it and kill it. These thoughts flashed through Ling Han's mind in an instant. He curved his lips slightly and said, "This place does not belong to you, and I am walking my own road here. So why must I circle around and take a different path?" That man was at a loss for words. But at once he glared daggers at Ling Han and bellowed, "If you don't get lost, I'll kill you." "You are merely in the first layer of element gathering tier, yet you actually dare to be so arrogant." This man was only in the 7th layer of element gathering tier, but against an opponent in the first layer of element gathering tier, he was perfectly capable of suppressing him. Ling Han let out a sigh. Now that he was left with only one origin nucleus, it truly seemed capable of drawing enemies to him at every turn. He looked at the man and asked, "Are you sure you want to use force?" Hong long long. At precisely this moment, a black shadow came tearing through the air, closing the distance at an incomparably rapid pace. Looking closely, it was a black-colored bull, and within its eyes there seemed to burn bright flames, as though someone had lit 2 fires in their depths. There was a martial artist before this bull, who clearly held the same intention as these people, tempting a single bull away from its herd. N? Ling Han's heart stirred. The strange fire was currently dancing in his left hand, making yi-yi-ya-ya sounds as it transmitted a blurry thought to him, much like Hu Nu proclaiming her hunger. The strange fire seemed exceedingly interested in the 2 flames burning in the fire-eyed bull's eyes, wanting to swallow them. Ling Han nodded and sent a thought back, saying, "If I have the chance, I'll get it for you." He made no guarantees, because he had no idea what the strength of this group truly was. So far, he had only seen 2 of them. Seeing that Ling Han did not move, the man at the top of the tree also did not speak. Instead, he fixed his gaze anxiously upon the fire-eyed bull. "Attack!" A loud shout rang out, and more than 10 people leapt down from the trees or scrambled out of the grass, managing to surround the bull from every side. Ling Han's eyes swept over them as he counted silently in his heart. 1 in the 3rd layer of Gushing Spring tier, 1 in the 2nd layer of Gushing Spring tier, 1 in the 3rd layer of Gushing Spring tier 1, and the other 12 are in Element Gathering tier N. There should be no problem. The problem here was that fire-eyed bull. The fire-eyed bull was a level 3 demonic beast, yet it was uncertain where within level 3 it stood. That was because demonic beasts cultivated along a system different from humans, making it very difficult to sense their level. But Ling Han's senses far surpassed those of ordinary peoples. Perhaps even a spiritual pedestal tier elite's senses would be no stronger than his. This fire-eyed bull seems to be in the late stage of Gushing Spring tier. The corner of Ling Han's lips twitched. A late-stage Gushing Spring tier existence would absolutely dominate an opponent in the early stage of Gushing Spring tier. 3 Gushing Spring tier martial artists were absolutely insufficient to make up for such a vast gap in power. Moreover, demonic beasts possessed thick hides. Even when a martial artist was at the same level as the demonic beast, it would still be exceedingly difficult to kill it. What more when there was a difference in level? Unless these martial artists had some secret treasure that could somehow reverse the situation. That martial artist who had been atop the tree naturally also jumped down, joining his companions in their assault upon the fire-eyed bull. Ling Han did not act overly reserved. He climbed up the tree and took the man's former position, watching the spectacle together with who knew. 15 people all drew their weapons and began to swarm the bull, yet the fire-eyed bull also revealed its ferocious might, charging violently at them. It even spat out extraordinarily powerful fireballs from its mouth. One man carelessly used his sword to block one, yet he could not slice it in half at all. The fireball slammed straight into his chest and immediately burned a great hole through his body, killing him on the spot. When the rest saw this, the expressions of the remaining 14 changed drastically, and their movements became far more cautious, but the fire-eyed bull was too powerful. With the support of late-stage gushing spring tier strength, it was utterly unstoppable. Crashing and flinging its horns, it pressed down upon everyone. Rather than saying they were ganging up on it, it would be more fitting to say it was ravaging them. Peng, peng, peng. The element-gathering tier martial artists were continuously flung away by the bull like mere scarecrows. Even if they had not been struck by the fireballs, being pierced or smashed by the bull's horns was absolutely not a pleasant feeling. There were a few whose stomachs were pierced through and whose intestines spilled out, a scene of devastation that was appalling to behold. Senior Brother Ma, we must use our ultimate move. The martial artist in the second layer of gushing spring tier said. The martial artist in the third layer of gushing spring tier, who had been called Senior Brother Ma Cursed, then reluctantly drew a spirit talisman from his robes and slapped it onto his body. Just to kill a fire-eyed bull, I have to use a strength talisman. There won't be much profit left. The others were all silent because Senior Brother Ma cared only about how much money he could earn, showing no concern at all for the injured or the dead. This left them feeling deeply disillusioned. They had not been together at first. Rather, they had encountered Senior Brother Ma and his two companions on the way here. Under the threats and promises of the latter, they had joined this hunting party. But by the look of things now, they were merely bait and tools meant to distract the bull. The spirit talisman immediately took effect. Senior Brother Ma roared, and unbelievably, his body actually swelled to twice its former size. Pa, pa! The clothes on him were instantly torn to pieces. Thankfully, his underpants seemed to be made of some unknown material, tough enough not to be ripped apart by his sudden expansion. Veins bulged across his body, his muscles hard and solid, as if brimming with endless strength. Strength talisman, said to let miracles be achieved through massive strength, because enough strength could crush and dominate anything that blocked one's way. The fire-eyed bull looked at him with dread. This human gave it a sense of danger. It halted, leveled its horns at Senior Brother Ma, and its front hooves repeatedly dug at the ground. Go die! Senior Brother Ma roared in fury, swinging the metal staff in his hands as he smashed it toward the fire-eyed bull. The fire-eyed bull was clearly a brute force type, and dodging was not something it excelled at. Thus, facing such a blow, it had no intention of evading. Instead, it raised its horns to meet the strike head-on. Peng! The metal staff smashed upon the bull's horns, spraying a rain of fiery sparks. The fire-eyed bull's front leg was driven down into the earth, stopping just before the point where its leg joined its body. Meanwhile, the metal staff was flung back by the impact, tearing the web between Senior Brother Ma's thumb and forefinger so that blood instantly gushed out. When Ling Han saw his, he could not help but shake his head inwardly, thinking that these were two fools. To actually use strength in the most stupid way possible like this. But if one idiot was clashing with another idiot, that was good. In such a head-on collision, the victor would be decided very quickly. The fire-eyed bull pushed power through its legs and sprang out from the ground at once. However, after this head-on exchange, its dread only deepened, and it no longer dared to attack recklessly. Instead, it stared at Senior Brother Ma, extreme caution filling its eyes. In the instincts of demonic beasts, the first priority was survival. Attack with me, and we'll kill this animal. Senior Brother Ma barked sternly. He needed the others to create an opening for him to strike. Translator, Reverie, Editor, Kurisu. No one was willing to be the first to rush in, for Senior Brother Ma had already burned through a strength talisman. That talisman was no cheap trinket. Its worth was scarcely less than a fire-eyed bull itself. So even if the beast were felled, Senior Brother Ma would swallow the fattest portion of the spoils, and what scraps would be left for the rest? To gamble one's life for a few hundred taels of silver? Who would willingly do such a thing? Yet they also could not refuse. Senior Brother Ma's gaze was fierce as a tiger's. Whoever did not fight would surely be the first to be beaten to death by his hand. Here, there were no laws. So they forced themselves into battle, each one more guarded than the next, fearing the bull's charge and fearing even more its fireballs. For if they were struck, even should they not die, they would be maimed to half a life. Though their strength was meager, they could at least draw some of the fire-eyed bull's attention. Senior Brother Ma seized the openings and struck again and again, and with loud peng peng peng, the great struggle erupted once more. Now Senior Brother Ma could contend evenly with the fire-eyed bull. With 10 helpers besides, he naturally held the advantage. After taking several heavy blows to its waist and back from Senior Brother Ma, the fire-eyed bull began to show fear. It wanted to flee. But Senior Brother Ma and the others had already paid so dear a price. How could they allow their prey to escape? They threw themselves into blocking its path with all their might, and before long, the fire-eyed bull was riddled with wounds. The demonic beast understood it could no longer break free, and instead it lifted a savage expression, its aura resolute and iron-hard. It was about to stake everything on a desperate struggle. The fire-eyed bull possesses an inborn mystic art, 10-way destruction, which in an instant ignites the source of firepower within its body. The harm it deals is terrifying beyond measure. Yet it will also shatter its own source of firepower, leaving no chance of ever recovering. Ling Han murmured to himself, "Yes! Yes! Yes!" Hu Nu sat properly, nodding again and again as though she truly understood. Plainly, Senior Brother Ma and the others knew nothing of the fire-eyed bull's final trump, and they continued to assault it fiercely from all sides. Put in more effort, everyone. This demonic bull is about to reach its end. Though its eyes are the most valuable, if there's a Bizor inside its body, then we'll have struck a real gain. Give it your all. If anyone dares to slack off, I'll let them know regret later. Under the strict commands of Senior Brother Ma and the other two, everyone was forced to pour more strength into their strikes, granting Senior Brother Ma more chances to land blows. Hong! A fierce surge of fire exploded from within the fire-eyed bull's body, blasting outward in every direction, like 1,000 or 10,000 fireballs erupting together. Other than retreating, there was no way to evade. Yet the flame burst was far too swift. Only Senior Brother Ma and his companions, those of higher tiers, managed to escape the heart of the eruption, while the others were burned to dust. Even so, Senior Brother Ma and his companions were scorched in several places. Patches of black, patches of burned flesh, looking thoroughly battered. With this ultimate strike unleashed, the fire-eyed bull instantly had no strength left to stand, and it crashed to the ground with a pang. Damn it! Damn it! Senior Brother Ma cursed as he cried out in pain. I'll have to waste a great many medicine pills to heal. This time, there is truly almost no profit. In any case, we still brought down this demonic beast. One of the others smiled, stepped forward, and delivered another blow, thrusting into the fire-eyed bull's brain. The bull's limbs convulsed violently, then fell still once more. Its life was ended. However, we still need to get rid of someone. Senior Brother Ma hefted his rod and strode toward the tree where Ling Han sat. A crooked smirk appeared on his face as he said, Kid, you thought I wouldn't find a rat like you? Ling Han smiled. When he had come over, he had not concealed his presence and had even spoken with one fellow for a while. Of course, the people nearby would discover him. What was there to boast about? So many have died, and you still want to slip away? Senior Brother Ma sneered, swinging his rod down to strike. Peng! The metal rod smashed into the great tree, which snapped at once. The enormous trunk toppled over, and even the ground trembled slightly from the impact. Ling Han leapt away with Hu Nu in his arms and landed nearby. A thread of coldness entered his eyes as he said, We have no grievance and no hatred, yet you still insist on killing me? Don't blame us for being cautious. What if you were to raid us while we're healing our wounds? Wouldn't we be caught on the back foot? So please, you should just go die now. Senior Brother Ma said icily. Ling Han laughed, then said, What makes you so confident you can beat me? Ha! Senior Brother Ma and his companions roared with laughter. A mere martial artist at the first layer of element gathering tier. You think you can give us hell? As expected, my current status draws far too much aggro. Ling Han shook his head and said, I truly don't want to act cool, but you three pigheads are people I am definitely capable of destroying. Impudence! One of them burst forward. The blade in his hand flashed with a cold gleam as it slashed toward Ling Han. He was at the first layer of Gushing Spring tier, and though heavily wounded, dealing with someone at the first layer of Element Gathering tier should not require more than a single blow. Naturally, there was no room for accidents. Thus, Senior Brother Ma and the other person watched with pleased smiles. Ling Han moved, his sword singing out with a chang, and 6 streaks of sword chi shot forth. What? 6 streaks of sword chi! Senior Brother Ma and the other man cried out in shock at the same instant, yet they quickly steadied themselves. No matter, no matter. 6 streaks of sword chi was indeed startling, but Ling Han's tier was simply too low. Even with 10 streaks, it was impossible to bridge a full 9 tiers gap. Poo 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 poo. A glaring radiance swept through, and they watched as the flesh on the body of that first layer Gushing Spring martial artist was carved into pieces. And when all of Ling Han's sword chi rushed over him, the man turned completely into a bloody, mangled mess. Fook! Senior Brother Ma and the other man's jaws fell slack, their eyes bulging larger than brass bells. This sight shattered their worldview to fragments. A first-layer Gushing Spring tier martial artist was instantly killed by the sword strike of a first-layer Element Gathering tier warrior. Who would believe such a thing? Even they who had seen it with their own eyes could not believe it. You are definitely not at the first layer of Element Gathering tier. Senior Brother Ma said through clenched teeth. Ling Han smiled and said, Then, how strong do you think I am? Senior Brother Ma had no answer. That aura truly belonged to the first layer of Element Gathering tier. Yet upon careful sense, it was indeed stronger than an ordinary first layer Element Gathering cultivator. But even if it were 10 times stronger, it would only match the middle stage of Element Gathering tier. So how could he possess the power to instantly kill a first layer Gushing Spring tier martial artist? Whatever your cultivation, you can only die. Senior Brother Ma roared. His strength talisman was still in effect, and with the might of the late stage of Gushing Spring tier, he was brimming with confidence. Hong! He charged, swinging his metal rod. Its speed was too swift and its force too heavy. Wherever the rod swept, vortices formed in the air. Ling Han smiled faintly. His feet shifted, and his figure moved at once like a ghost. If Senior Brother Ma were truly in the late stage of Gushing Spring tier, then Ling Han would have fled immediately, but his opponent's power came only from the strength talisman, and his speed was no faster. Besides, Senior Brother Ma had suffered a heavy blow from the fire-eyed bull's final strike, and his strength had dropped drastically. With the strength talisman's support, his power did not fall by much, but his speed was far less than in his peak condition. How could he possibly land a hit on Ling Han?